It's like Rachel Zegler intentionally wanted to kill the Snow White movie. It's like she was super mad at them for not hiring her sooner. It's like she completely did not care as long as she got a paycheck out of it. And now an insider is claiming that Rachel Zegler's Snow White box office could completely derail female-led films like Frozen 3 and the Ray movie. But before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, obviously, I do not like Rachel Zegler. I think she is a really mid actress who's got an okay voice, but she knows nothing about Snow White and she has absolutely no respect for the source material. Keep in mind, she is the one who said that the prince was a creepy stalker and that, oh, this wasn't going to be a love story and there was going to be a modern twist with this film, which is not what anybody wanted at all whatsoever. But now apparently this movie could completely derail other female-led films. So it says the following article uses sources kept anonymous for the sake of protecting their careers, but it is coming from that Park Place. They do have a very good track record. It says a source with an excellent track record has reached out to that Park Place with information regarding Disney projects in development that we believe is tantalizing and worthy of significant consideration. According to our contact, the Walt Disney Company is taking a wait-and-see approach to Frozen 3 and the Ray movie scripts, with special attention given to how Snow White starring Rachel Zegler performs at the box office in 2025. This movie has already been delayed. They've already put a bunch of extra money into the reshoots that we heard. They have already basically stretched themselves as thin as possible when it's come to this movie. And sure, maybe it will come out and maybe it will be amazing, but I do not think that it is going to be successful, even if it does end up being pretty good, because of how much damage Rachel Zegler and Disney have done with this movie. When you have a lead actress who comes out and says that she never got through the movie because she was afraid of it as a kid and she only rewatched it when she finally had gotten this job. She had called the prince creepy and a stalker. She has, of course, attacked and belittled fans who were just upset with all of the changes that they're making, and she has absolutely no respect for anyone but herself. She's definitely a narcissist that has an ego the size of the Eiffel Tower, and while this is all going to severely damage this film's chances at the box office, and apparently it's not just going to hurt Snow White, because it could lead to multiple mega female failures. It says, despite Moana 2 managing to cross the billion-dollar mark worldwide, many feel the film was a cash grab that has harmed the franchise more broadly, especially in regards to its future consumer enthusiasm. If Snow White dramatically underperforms Disney's desires, it could point to necessary retooling given the current socio-political landscape looking nothing like Disney had likely projected when many of these projects were first announced. I've always said this, it's just the Bob Iger effect. There are few companies out there who have a Bob Iger, but when they do, they crash. Bob Iger has been with Disney for a long time and he's greenlit a lot of successes, but over the past couple of years, he has been pushing more of this just progressive and in general woke content because he thinks one day it will pay off. It doesn't matter if it's 5 years or 8 years or even 10 years, as long as he has a few billion-dollar hits a year to sustain the company and to keep them afloat. In 5 years or 10 years, when people finally want this content, they will have the biggest back catalog for those people and of that content. So eventually it will pay off, but that definitely is not going to be the case. People have been rejecting this content for years at this point, and I'm sure that they have a plethora of projects that are still in the works. I mean, even just look at all the trash that came out in 2024, things like Agatha all along. Who actually wanted that? Nobody. Does anybody want new, modern Captain America? Absolutely not. Does anybody want the young, all-female Avengers? Absolutely not, but they have continued to barrel forward with these plans. But while they're doing that, because Bob Iger does have a pretty good track record when it comes to just keeping the company afloat, whoever is handed the next position of CEO is going to have a very rough time. Look what happened with Bob Chapek. And the word on the street is that it's actually going to be Andrew Wilson, EA's CEO. And he definitely does not really understand what makes people show up to monetarily support products anymore. Look at how much EA has been struggling over the past few years. But yeah, I mean, development times for movies and TV shows and even video games are extremely long. And I'm sure that they have a bunch more products that are in the works that are just going to be like cringy girl boss centered products. But there's only so much of that people are going to take. And I do think that with Snow White, we are going to see it be a complete and utter failure to add to the list of the live action flops. And maybe Disney will eventually wake up, though I wouldn't put it past them to continue down this path. It says, though, a third film in the franchise has been announced, but we're still 2 years away from it releasing. Josh Gad, who voices Snowman Olaf in the beloved franchise, insists they don't want to rush the third movie and give fans a flick that is obviously worthy of the 2013 original. I didn't hate the sequel that they did, Frozen 2. I felt like it gave a lot more depth to the characters, but again, I was never like a fan of Frozen 1. I watched these movies so that I could have them as reference points, but like, is anybody actually asking for Frozen 3 except for maybe some of the kids who are around now who have watched it because their parents had them watch it? Like, I just don't know if there's that big of a grab for Frozen anymore. And even with Star Wars and these Rey movies, we've heard so many mixed reports on these that they wanted to bring Daisy Ridley back and it was supposed to be right after the sequel trilogy. Then we heard it was going to be a decade later. Then we heard, oh, they're hiring all of these feminists like Charmin Obaid-Chinoy to work on this project. And oh my God, it's going to be a female-centric film. And we saw how the Acolyte went, so I don't think that they're going to just go in that direction anymore. But we are talking about no hype for any of these. According to our source, both the Rey movie and Frozen 3 could see significant script alterations depending on how Snow White performs. If the Rachel Zegler live-action remake does poorly, it could signal that the era of the girl boss on silver screens is rapidly coming to an end. I would love to see this. I'm fine with the occasional girl boss movie or when a female doesn't need anybody else and she's super strong and she's super confident. But we have seen that happen far too much over the past few years. And just look at the live action adaptations. Mulan was a total flop. The Little Mermaid was a disaster, in my opinion, especially when they changed the ending and minimized Prince Eric's role so that Ariel could be the strong one saving her people and saving her father and saving herself. Because even though in the 93 animated, the whole point of the ending was Eric was willing to die to protect the woman that he loved. But oh, we're gonna throw that to the side because that doesn't fit our current modern narratives. And nobody wants a Frozen 3, I don't think. A Rey movie isn't going to go over particularly well. And I do think that the Snow White movie is basically a guaranteed flop at this point, but I can't say I'd feel all that sad knowing that Rachel Zegler has another big loss under her belt, that Disney could potentially wake up to the fact that we have flat out rejected these girl boss movies over the past few years, but I still do not have any hope in Disney to actually see that we're not showing up to swipe our credit cards for movie tickets to watch these films. I still have a feeling they have a ton of projects like these greenlit that they're going to be working on, and it's like they intentionally are not listening to us because they do think that it will pay off one day. And if Rachel Zegler is the reason why Disney goes under, I think that that would be absolutely hilarious. So, yes, there's a lot of rumor and a lot of speculation right now surrounding the Snow White live action adaptation, and if this could end up derailing the Ray movie in Frozen 3, and only time will tell. But for now, that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.